We are live. I am Pumpkin Jack, and today I am accompanied by...
Wow, we have to figure out who was first, Bolt.
I thought we did this already. I said that you would go first. I will follow.
We talk about this every week. Okay, this is Red.
This is your cue now.
Sorry, checking, make sure that you're. Wait, don't. Oh no, I'm not muted.
You're not. Okay, that was everybody. The Bolt Android. He's glitching today on a misfire, and the fish can't have his memory span past 30 seconds. Let me go ahead and kill the music. All right, there we go. And this is the Ghastly Hallows podcast, where today's subject is Silent Hill, a very, very, very... I lost myself a little bit there. A very, very popular franchise hailing from the land of the rising sun, the rival from Konami to Capcom's Resident Evil. God, I just thought that, and I just mumbled everything because we got some shocking news moments before this podcast started recording, and oh wow. It's gonna be a bit of a weird one today because we haven't had this happen just yet. First time, right, Bolt? First time we've ever encountered this, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Miracles can't happen.
There's division in the ranks.
Yeah. Today, you're gonna switch sides with the fish, and we're gonna go over that. So, Silent Hill. In the early 90s, the survival horror genre was on the rise with Capcom's Resident Evil. But what a lot of people don't know is that came from a film called Sweet Home, because in the land of the rising sun, they know how to do their slow burn video game horror a lot better than we do here in the West. And Konami's response to all of this was a little Lovecraftian-based horror game known as Silent Hill, where you are playing as a protagonist looking for their daughter in a pretty much sort of limbo hellscape world that there are many different explanations depending on what ending you got in the game. One of these days I'll do a stream of the game and I'll hang out with you guys here as I play it. But what we're going to do today is go over the popular, or so I thought, film from 2006 revolving around the plot of where they do a little bit of gender swapping. As opposed to being the dad, you're following around the mother, played by Rhoda Mitchell, looking for her daughter, played by Jodelle Ferdland, in the limbo-esque hellscape that is known as Silent Hill. Now, normally we have an issue here where we kind of fall into review territory, but today I'm going to start a little different. Red, would you care to share with us your opinions on this film?
I have some... What I didn't think was news that was that disturbing, but apparently the news is more disturbing than the film itself. I watched this movie for this podcast, and I did not like it. I might get internally canceled here, but, if that has to happen, so be it. But yeah, I am sorry, dear co-hosts and dear audience members. I do not like this movie.
Sir, if I was not canceled for all the horrible things that I said about Jennifer Aniston around here, I doubt you not liking a film here will get you canceled. This isn't Hot Dogs and a Handshake podcast where we cancel people for these kinds of things.
I don't know. I'm afraid that Sean Bean's going to come after me now.
Sean Bean tends to die in everything he is, except for this film.
Both films. He made it through both films. Imagine that.
So he'll most likely die on his quest for vengeance to get you. Don't worry about it.
And the cruel irony of this is that the one horror film that Bolt had already seen and had strong positive feeling towards, I don't like. I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, this is clearly the dark timeline.
Yeah, right. Yes.
And of course, it starts in 2024. Everything's just going to hell. Clearly.
Okay. So let me just give some briefly just give some initial thoughts. I'm not going to let everything out of the gate right away, but I'll just give some initial thoughts. Now, I know that it's based on a video game, which I have not played, admittedly, but I think that watching the movie feels too much like watching someone play a video game, because it's like for the first like big chunk of the movie, we're just kind of watching her going from spot to spot, and there's monsters here and there's monsters there, and it's just like it keeps the plot from moving forward, and I found it frustrating. Like, some of the monsters were cool, but then when she went to another spot and there's more monsters, I'm like, get on with it. Oh my gosh, tell me where the girl is. Why are there so many monsters? I want more plot. And so like it just sort of like it dragged on. I found it kind of boring for at least that big first chunk of the movie. And then when we finally get a little bit of story, it feels like a cutscene, and I'm just like, it shouldn't feel like I mean, maybe I'm not being open-minded here, but video games should feel like video games. Movies should feel like movies. It's just not. That was like the initial aspect that really wasn't working for me.
Okay. I am going to give a bit of explanation in the medium, but first, Bolt, do you have anything to retort that with?
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, the tragedy. Oh, the tragedy.
Okay.
All seriousness. Yeah. First of all, it boggles my mind that Well, first off, did you see both the Silent Hill movies or just the first one?
Just the first
Your
one.
assignment was the first one, sir. You kind of did the extra credit on your own there.
Son of a.
Yeah.
You'll thank yourself at the end of the semester, though.
All right, you know, I'm dropping out of the class. You know.
You know what? You chose to watch the shitty one with Jon Snow. No one sent you to see that one, sir.
No,
I thought we all agreed to watch both films.
I said the
Bolt,
first one.
You can't drop out. That the deadline passed. You're in the withdrawal phase, which means it'll still appear on your transcript. Do you really want that?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, at this point, he doesn't care about getting the negative credits. He just wants out of this.
The pain is that enormous that I will gladly take the biggest unnecessary avoidable L on my transcript.
Yeah.
But yeah. I felt like what you were describing was the second film. funny enough. But it's like,
well, I guess it doesn't get better then.
No.
Let's just say the second film was a little too late.
Okay.
And it also had Jon Snow, who's like that actor. I forget his real name nowadays. Kit Harington. Yeah, he's
the other guy. Oh no. Sorry, I don't know my Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to. That had a crash and burn ending on its own time. Unfortunately, like, that guy is one of those dudes that he has a potential for a good movie, and he just keeps picking really shitty choices for his films. I don't know why, but yeah, like, it's just, I gave up on that guy a while ago, like him being a good actor or him being popular in anything that he does. I just gave up. It's one of those things. But anyways, back to where you were at with Silent Hill. Yeah, I just shit on Kit Harington a little bit. Go back to where we were.
It's not even shitting on him. It's just, you're just pointing out obvious facts in his repertoire of his filmography. But like that, it's like whatever. He gets paid. He looks good, and he will have work. Only many of us can be so lucky in this dystopian world.
Back to where your opinions were, sir. We're there.
Yeah. I want to like talk a bit about Red's point about like, oh, video games should be video games and films should be films. Now, him pointing out that there were cutscene like moments in the film that felt like it dragged. I don't know. I felt like that was very like, depending on what scenes he's talking about, it could be either hit or miss for me. Because the thing is that like I would say like my positive feeling towards this because I saw the games first before watching the film. And funny enough, upon rewatching this on the first film, I did not remember 99% of the film. And the one thing I did remember was like two scenes with elements swapped out. Which was I like, oh, that's new. I didn't think I was my hard drive was corrupted that badly, but you know what, it happens, old age and whatnot. But yeah, I'm curious, which scene do you have any scene examples in particular that felt like it was like the cutscene experience that you were getting and did not like? Red?
Right. Let's see. I am talking about the first kind of chunk of the movie.
Okay.
Maybe like when she first, when they first meet Dahlia, I think. Yeah, that kind of felt like a cutscene because that was after she's like spent some time like running. If I'm remembering right, she's spent some time kind of like running between places, encountering the different creatures, and then she finally meets a person that she can speak with.
So
yeah.
Sorry, now continue.
Yeah, so that it just sort of had the rhythm of being in an open world video game where you see like the non-human, you experience some non-human aspects that kind of give you the flavor of the world that you're in, and then you meet like your contact that then gets you to the next stage of the game that unlocked something. And I mean, it kind of honestly just made me want to play the game because my thought was, I don't like this as a movie, but I have a feeling that I would like it as a game if I could like go through this world on my own.
So with that point, I'm actually going to pivot into what I think is important with this one. Video games and films, especially out of Japan, for some weird reason, Konami was the spearhead of this. Konami started making their video games in the 90s to be more cinematic, to kind of stick out among everybody else. Mm-hmm. Video games that they made very cinematically were Silent Hill. You also had Metal Gear, which the director of the Metal Gear games was a failed filmmaker, Hideo Kojima, and then he would go on to make one of the most successful video game franchises of all time, which they really want to adapt into movies, but they just can't. Like, it's too difficult to adapt into a movie. For the same kind of controversy you're having right now, you're like, why the hell am I going to watch this when I should just play it? Like, I feel like it would be more satisfying to just go through this myself.
Yeah.
So when the Silent Hill movie came out, believe it or not, back in 2006, we were getting a couple of video game movies in those times. We were all pissed off about House of the Dead. I know a few people that defend that movie now, but it was pretty bad. I'd never seen that many people get up and walk out of a movie. And then we were also in the middle of the run of the Resident Evil movies, which started out as its own little side story and then morphed into its really shitty own universe with the shitty character Alice. And anybody listening to this, if you like the rest of those movies, go get your head examined. The only good one was the first one. The rest of them were awful. Just awful movies. So in 2006, when we get Silent Hill, it was a refreshing tone because it actually felt like the game, which was what a lot of people were looking forward to. And you also kind of mentioned something else indirectly, but it's the truth. Films like Silent Hill are made with the intention of selling you the game.
So it worked on me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what they want is for you in 2006 to get out of the theater and be like, you know what? I'm actually going to go see if I can track down Silent Hill 1 back in 06. You could have found it for $20 at GameStop. And Silent Hill 2, which you could have also found in 06 for maybe $40 at GameStop. And then I'm going to play them because they were actually starting to drop more Silent Hill games in those days. Silent Hill 3, 4, Downpour, Homecoming, right? There's a big series of Silent Hill games out there, and that's why they did it. So they dropped the movie to sell you more games.
So it was a $50 million advertisement. I just looked up the budget on Wikipedia.
It was, but if you actually go play the games, this is what was also very cool about this one. It actually is more or less the most faithful adaptation of a video game at the time.
Right.
Of that decade, anyway. Because the next faithful adaptation we would get of a video game wouldn't be... Well, I'm wrong here. We did get a few, but they were so hammy. We got a few faithful ones, but I guess the least hammy faithful adaptation we would get would be what do you call it? The Last of Us last year or 2 years ago, however long ago that.
Yeah, that's been I've heard nothing but good things about that.
Well, but that's a TV show.
Yeah, but it's still a form of visual watching, non-interactive media adaptation, because that was supposed to be a movie and it was through limbo a bunch of times till it became a show. But what I'm gonna argue with that one was it's a show. It was interesting, but what a lot of people still fail to recognize is the source material was a video game, and the stuff that they were kind of railing against, oh, she's a lesbian. Video games had kind of covered that already. Us as gamers have been ahead of you already for 8 years. Get with the program. So with Silent Hill, we're over here we've been here already with this kind of dystopian town for 10 years. We're just going home, per se.
Not the Homecoming one.
Yeah. Well, I do find the craft of adapting a story to a different medium than it originally was in. And I do get that people that are fans of the original medium want it to still feel like the original. So it's always impressive, I think, when a filmmaker is able to make his movie feel like the original comic book or like the original TV show. So I admire that kind of endeavor, but I do think that a movie that feels like a video game, I just don't know if it can work, because the thing that I noticed in Silent Hill, related to my previous point, is that the plot points are very sparse. You get a little bit of plot here, then a bunch of monsters, then a little bit of plot here, and it just kind of... And you can do that in a video game because you're being entertained by being able to explore the world on your own. And then you get a little plot here and there. But that's not really what you expect or want from a movie. At least not me. I like movies. I don't mind if movies take their time, but as long as things are still kind of focused on moving the plot forward, that's what works for me. So that's what I found frustrating.
Yeah, you wanted to move through the plot. You wanted a speed run of this movie. That's what you were looking for. Whereas the rest of us were kind of just there, and we're like, oh, cool, we've gone through this before at some point.
Yeah. I think that with what you guys are saying, it seems like having played the game would help you enjoy the movie more.
I would say so, yeah. I'm actually surprised Bolt even played these games. They allowed you to play this in your AI factory, dude?
I never said I played the games.
You fucking dude, burn to me but again. Play your fucking violin music for me while you got it over there. Disappointed.
Hold on, let me pull up my...
Damn it. God damn it. damn it. God damn it. All right, that's enough. God damn it.
Also, just like one little quibble, just like one little thing. We're in a coal mining town in West Virginia. Why doesn't anybody have an accent?
Funny you should mention that.
Yeah.
They're too busy in the other world, dying to various things to worry about having an accent.
Nobody
Are
has
of a
time
cult.
for accents. No. But I mean, like
Do
the people.
people in West Virginia have the twang accent?
Yes. Yeah.
They do?
Yes. They do. Yeah. I mean, not everybody in any part of the country has a very thick regional accent. But I mean, you're in a coal mining town in a fairly remote part of West Virginia. I would expect at least some people, especially the older people, to have a southern accent.
I'm gonna leapfrog into something here for you to give some people some creepy trivia. Whoever hears this, so I've mentioned to you guys before, but the way that this whole thing was conceptualized was that the game developers were on an American road trip. What the fuck is there between New York and California that you got to see in this country? I don't know.
But, okay. We could have a separate argument about that. There's a lot to see. Don't go there, buddy.
I have driven through.
I'm coming to you live from the Denver area.
Fine. In between the 3 points of this goddamn country, what the hell is there to see? Missouri is America's armpit. That's all I gotta say. Fuck that place. So, anyways. Not even the elbow, it's the armpit. It smells like ass when you walk out in the goddamn Everglades. And Ozarks suck. Anyway, back to where I was before. Fuck the Ozarks. They ruined my radiator. Anyways, when you're going, these guys are going on a cross-country trip, and when they made it towards the East Coast, or when they made it out of the East Coast, they heard about a town not far from where I am right now, actually. It's like 45 minutes away from where I'm currently at, called Centralia, where in the 60s there were some people, they were mining in the town, and then one of the lanterns broke and it hit a gas pocket, and it pretty much started a fire in the town. So they tried their best to put the fire out, but the fire never went out. They couldn't do anything about it, and that mine was the town's entire livelihood. And on top of that, it's also the base of the town. So under the town, there are fires still raging to this day because they can't they can't put it out. And on top of they can't put it out, you can't really walk around anywhere in the town because it's eroding everything above it. So they had to start clearing the town out. There's still some people living in the town, and a few explorers have managed to make their way through to see parts of the abandoned parts of the town. And oddly enough, like, the city center still looks like it has some life in it, but a lot of the set pieces for the film were borrowed from the town. The church, the square where the pyramid head is walking up, and the filmmakers actually went there. So when it comes to what does this have to do with the accents, they have more of a Midwestern accent versus all that. Right. The story is coming from a Japanese point of view, where they probably heard about it in PA. They probably stopped by West Virginia for like a hot minute to just see what the hell John Denver was singing about, when they realized he was high off his ass when he thought that just West Virginia was a lot like heaven. They probably just moved along the day and didn't talk to anybody, because what is there to talk to anybody about anything in West Virginia? What?
Oh, don't paint places with a broad brush. I mean,
they already painted me with a broad brush, so I'm gonna paint them right back. So
but
anyway,
by saying they have painted you with a broad brush, you are painting them with a broad brush
right back. So,
okay, so it's like you're sword fighting, but with brushes.
Bingo.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, we're jousting with brushes.
I mean, West Virginia is a visually beautiful place. I didn't spend a lot of time in town, so I don't have like a real sense of like what it's like culturally, but it's a beautiful place.
Well, John Denver was
And
high when he wrote it. That's all I have to say about that.
and just like connected to the movie, I did get into a car accident while I was on my way to West Virginia, and she gets into a car accident in West Virginia. So
Did you
that
like
part I
not?
found
Did you
out.
swerve out of the way to not hit a little kid on the road?
That's not exactly what happened. Someone rear-ended us on the Dan Ryan Expressway in Chicago.
Was the person that rear-ended you a police officer on their motorcycle?
No, it was much more serious than that.
Well, just as we go back to her, believe it or not, in the varium of cinema and all this stuff, I just wanted to point two things out. If you were a fan of The Walking Dead, then the conclusion for that police officer is very satisfying because we all hated that lady for the first 2 or 3 seasons of The Walking Dead. We were glad when she died because she spent all season long opening her legs for the governor. Couldn't open her legs long enough to get the stupid thing out to cut herself free. So, fuck that lady. Secondly, just to point out, video games and cinema are very, very similar in their own little avenues. In the original game, she was modeled to look like another actress, which I'm pretty sure they might have tried to get, but they couldn't get her. Would you guys care to know who she was originally modeled to look after?
Say it.
Cameron Diaz.
Oh yeah, okay.
Cameron
Yeah,
Diaz, who is an odd gamer nerd because she was supposed to be in 2 gaming movies that I know of, and something happened and she couldn't do it. She was actually supposed to be Sonya Blade in 1995, but she got injured during training, so they had to go get somebody else to fill in the role. Isn't that something?
Tragic.
Interesting.
Yeah, she actually did. She had the martial arts training and everything ready to roll, and then she got injured, and she couldn't do it. So, fun fact. She's that kind of character, and poor Sonya Blade has only been misrepresented ever since, voiced by Ronda Rousey, who sounds like she's just a monotone puppet with a fucking hand up her ass. Amanda Nunes' foot up her ass is what it sounds like. But anyways,
sounds planned. When you say it like that, like, oh, someone who's trained should definitely be okay, and she's injured.
Yeah, she was injured during the training. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, they lost their first choice, but it probably did make the movie cheaper to make.
Bridget Wilson. That movie's marred with a bunch of problems. One day we'll do a non-horror discussion on Mortal Kombat because that has its own weird little history on its own. But it's just like one of those things where like she was supposed to sort of, I think, be in this film, and then I don't think she could do it as the cop. And I'm actually going to point out something else here, but first I'll ask you guys a question before I point that out. What do you guys think about Radha Mitchell's performance in this movie? She is the mother.
She's the mother. I was about to either ask or covertly look at the Wikipedia page.
Covertly.
Well, what did you guys think of her performance?
I'll start.
So that was.
Oh, okay. I already go for it.
Oh no. I've been talking. You go ahead, Bolt.
I was like, if it was done any other way, I would not have liked it because, unfortunately, I'm going to be a little stickler in comparison from the source material to like the movie, because like the husband, due to her performance, was kind of like worthless dead space of screen time. Like nothing against Sean Bean and his role here, but I'm just like, watching him on screen was like watching a side quest that I know had no payoff and was just like, it was just there just to let people know, yeah, he's still around, he's still alive. Look at Sean Bean. Is he gonna die? Place your bets.
He did feel very like unnecessary as a character for a while, but until he breaks into the library and discovers the archives,
He was still unnecessary. Like, he broke into a library and got arrested for it after accosting a nun. And he got shipped off and like told to go home. Like, pick up your ball and go home, son. Like, leave this to the adults.
You get well, like that part gave us a little clue as to what was coming.
I
That there's a
mean,
connection between Sharon and Alessa. Again, we've switched. I'm defending an aspect of this movie that I overall don't like.
and
I have a
like,
feeling, sir, you
it,
didn't dislike this film. I have a feeling you misunderstood it.
yeah, which to go against your point, we already had the connection being built through just watching Rose Silva's character. We just it was already shown sprinkled out the movie. It was like it did the show and tell. Oh, don't tell, but then they actually do tell. Because it is what it is. But we already had the connection, like more or less shown, sprinkled in, suggested, and explained. He was just like, oh yeah, here's the citation. I'm like, I didn't care. I don't care about the orphans. They're safe. I don't care about the nun. She's safe. I don't care about the cop that's being a dick and is trying to make up for his failure of saving a child from being burned. I don't care about that. I care about the one crazy, like the crazy duo of women who are going into certain death and danger, trying to rescue a little girl from a freaking cult like ritual. Like, Godspeed to although you hated Laurie Holden's character.
I didn't hate the character.
Actress.
I just hated Laurie Holden I hated Laurie Holden in The Walking Dead. And then, like, when you remember, oh yeah, that's the lady that got burnt to death. You're like, all right, cool. I'm now okay with that. I wasn't okay with it when I saw it in 2006, but then I found out who she was in like 2013 or 2014. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm okay with this now. Because fuck you. I don't like you.
Funny thing, the thing that I thought I remember about this film when I saw it long ago was I thought she, like the scene where she was supposed to be burned to death. I thought, how she died was Pyramid Head comes in and just rips the skin and meat off of her flesh. That's how I thought she died. From my memory. Nope. That went to someone else.
That went to someone else, which I think that effect is still boss. It's just gonna. That effect was cool. I know we're sitting in the room with the detractor, but that effect was cool, and I don't want to hear anybody tell me it wasn't. Right? that was some gruesome shit. This movie has a lot of gruesome shit in it, but I'm gonna go back to something that I mentioned before. So, Bolt, you're good with Radha Mitchell's performance, right?
Yes.
Rose's performance. How about you, Bolt? Are you good with Rose's performance in this one?
That is actually something that I did enjoy about the movie.
All right.
But like Radha Mitchell's performance, I guess maybe more what I'm saying is that I liked the character of Rose. I found myself admiring her courage and determination when she was looking for her daughter.
Okay, so here's why I hate Jamie Lee Curtis, but I love Radha Mitchell. You're gonna find this to be
as people, as actresses or as people,
as actresses / people. You're gonna find this one to be very fascinating. Radha Mitchell absolutely fucking hates this movie.
What?
Yep. She read the script, and when she read the script, she didn't like it. However, and she's fully admitted this, she doesn't, do the Scream Queen tours or anything like that. She doesn't use this film as a way to boast her star status, but she hates this movie. But when she read the script, she's like, okay, this is not what I'm feeling here. I don't like this. So she thought maybe she could try and see if she could finagle to get the film put the way it's supposed to be, which is in the game, you're falling around Harry. You're not falling around Rose.
Yeah, because the mother, his
wife died.
Yeah, Harry's wife died.
Yeah, and the little girl is like all he had left. So you're following him around. You're not following Rose. Right. But they switched it. So Sean Bean was kind of supposed to be more of the main character, and then he wasn't. Then
he was supposed to die in the second film because that's what happens in the game.
Yeah. So then what wound up happening was she got to be main character status, and she still was like, I really don't like filming this. This is really heavy on me. It's really, proactive. But she took it because it was a good payout, and she didn't have anything else coming in between that one and the other film she did after this, which is a really long ways off. It got delayed. So she came in and she read the script. She worked with Sam Hadida the whole time. She was extremely cooperative on the tours. She was very nice, very friendly. And when asked, like, you really hated this movie, like, you had all the right to talk shit, she turned around and said, I'm a professional. And when you're a professional, you go do your job. So I didn't like the script, but it's whatever. I'm a professional. I'm here to do my job, and I'm here to do a good job. And when I heard about that, I'm like, damn, she hated that movie, and she put in a really solid performance. That's why it took a while for Silent Hill 2 to come out, or whatever that fucking 3D piece of crap was with that other piece of crap actor took a while to do. He's not good unless he's fucking a wildling. I just put it like that. So it took a while for that to get released because of this. Like, she didn't like it, and even then in the sequel, like, she's not really there. And Jodelle Ferdland, the daughter, also, they didn't call her back for some reason for that one. But I just wanted to ask you guys that because you see, that's what a pro does. She doesn't shit on anything, doesn't shit on the genre. She does her job. She does it right. She doesn't have to come back if she doesn't want to, but she did a really good job in this movie, and I'm actually, like, always commend her for that because that's what a pro does. So good for you, Ryder Mitchell. You're a friend of the show, even though you don't know who I am. I'm going to say something else about somebody, so these two can't say I go around hating on people forever. Unlike that disgusting wench, fucking Jennifer Aniston. Fuck you.
Anyway. She sounds like the real deal. Yes, I agree with you. That is admirable.
It is. How many people you hear about that don't like the script and they show up and they phone it in? She showed up and she put in a good performance. Like, you're following her.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I've read about actors that kind of, in retrospect, say that they didn't like how a project came out. But I don't know if I've ever heard a story explicitly of someone who, like, hates a project going in but really seems to do a good job with it.
Yeah, and she did. Like, she absolutely hated this project, but she still gave it,
like, from start to finish.
Yeah, and I don't blame her because, like, she had to do a lot of shit in this one.
Oh yeah,
like from those scenes alone in the elevator, I would have hated filming that, like, being thrown up against the wall, thrown up against the side. And then there's a scene where she's talking in the church and that guy just pops her in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got popped twice in that. It's like, first the guy popped her, and then the second one was the woman.
I mean, to praise some of the special effects, that looked real.
I have a feeling that shit was real. Yeah. I have a feeling that was real. I don't know why. I feel like that dude genuinely got mad at her and fucking slapped her, and she's such a pro. She just pushed him back instead of, like, the G-Eazy music coming out and being like, motherfucker.
Yeah, right, yeah. No, there was no, like, editing tricks with it. The whole thing was in one shot. It's like, whoa, that looked pretty real. Yeah, but so, like, related to a lot of the quality of the special effects, the environment, it's like the artistry of it is admirable, but I don't like that sort of thing in horror movies generally, because I think I've said this on the program before. I don't like big budget horror. I think horror should almost always be
more intimate,
low budget, contained, intimate, simpler. It just makes it feel more real. It makes it feel like these things could happen to you because you live in a house, you live in a town. That everything about this movie seems like something in your life, except this one weird little thing that's happening. It's very, very hard to get me to like one of these big budget horror movies.
So everyone heard it. I didn't have to say it. Red the Fish has admitted that he is a horror hipster. And,
I kind of am. Yes. Yeah.
and he owns a title with pride and glee. So
I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to change my avatar to exactly the same fish, but one that's wearing horn rim glasses.
please don't do that. Your fish might look like a neckbeard. And there's a difference between the two. Please don't do that. Just leave the fish as it is. It's okay. We will draw you a fish that looks kind of like one of the SpongeBob ones that looks like a hipster. We'll work on that. All right, that's the better way to go. Don't put the horn glasses on the fish.
Look, if he wants to condemn himself even further, let him.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Oh my goodness, that
fish
there are
is
certain
awesome.
things that
Fire up those grills, because I'm hungry for one.
Good times. Like those things just aged like fine.
They did.
Wine.
Classic
Oh,
SpongeBob
yeah.
is the best. He's like classic Simpsons.
SpongeBob.
It's awesome.
Yeah, SpongeBob is those like first 4 seasons. Oh, gold.
Yep.
Absolute gold.
It felt like you were getting back to Ren and Stimpy in those years. They even had that cool little like cell shaded animations here and there. I'm like, oh, we're back, and then it's like they went away.
Yeah. What? And just a bit of animation trivia. You know how sometimes in SpongeBob, where it will cut to like when they go to a close up, it's often a like really really great detailed painting of what's happening. Yeah, that comes from Ren and Stimpy.
Yep, that's what I meant. Yeah. Like that, those close-ups, like it was a Ren and Stimpy style thing. And you're like, yay! Like the '90s kid in me was like, yay! We're back to that. SpongeBob is as close as we're gonna get.
Yeah.
And then he became corporate, and he became like the Mickey Mouse of Nickelodeon. And then I started hating him because that's just my logic. That's just how it goes. Like now, SpongeBob is not what he was when I was a kid. And
well, okay, so I may be a horror hipster, but you sound like a SpongeBob hipster.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm just a jaded adult. The thing is, I'm not a hipster. I'm a jaded adult. There's a difference. Hipsters think they're cool by being different. I just admit that I'm pissed off all the time. There's a very, very massive difference in that.
Also, people in his age group and slightly younger, but that's grew around the same time when he's talking about basically have the same sentiments of, oh yeah, the first 4 seasons of SpongeBob were great. Everything came out after that was just
once they changed the voice, like SpongeBob took a deep dive and it started being about gay innuendo jokes. But speaking of gay things, what do you guys think about that big ass knife that Pyramid Head is walking around, or Pyramid Head as a whole? Because apparently
he should not have been in this movie. That is one thing I did not care for. He should not have been in this movie. This was clearly just like another attempt to get people who played the video games to like buy it. It's like, oh, Pyramid in the movie. Remember when he showed up in the sequel, not the first game?
Since you're finally knowledgeable about something AI, would you care to explain to Red why Pyramid Head should not have been in this film?
Well, I'm going to have to talk about the second film because he made more sense in the second film than he did
Well,
in this
explain the lore of Pyramid Head as a whole, and that might, like, water it down to, like, 10 to 15 seconds. Like, how can you put this one down?
They also kind of retconned him and made him very, he was basically the poster boy monster for the franchise. That's what he turned out to be in the long run. But when he first came out, when he first debuted, Red, it was a beautiful work of horror. You would have been shitting and pissing your pants at his introduction. The first scene you see of this monstrosity, this vile, disgusting creature from the other world, he is literally just more or less raping a corpse. Or soon to be a corpse of like another otherworld monster. And no, I am not advocating for rape or those type of sexual assault. I'm just saying in terms of.
Well, I'm glad you said something.
Okay, we're going into freaking necrophilia here. I guess it's gonna be up to me to kind of bridge the gap.
It's not necrophilia, because the thing is like
borderline necrophilia here.
Yeah, no. You don't know what real was not. It was basically a monster that was still alive and he got killed by him.
In the video game,
he was finished.
Pyramid Head is supposed to be a representation of Harry Mason's guilt for his failed marriage.
Getting to that.
Yeah, it took you a while. You had to cross the corpse rate first.
You didn't wait 2 seconds. You did not wait 2 seconds.
Yeah, we had to get to the corpse rate, didn't it? You couldn't just get to that point. It was easy to get to that point. That made people feel uncomfortable, all right? Our viewership is low around here, Bolt. That don't help, all right? Jesus.
Wah, wah,
Well,
wah.
no, we got to start taking risks.
All right, fine. I'm like Rick and Morty now. We're just gonna go around saying whatever we want. Dub. I'm gonna go ahead and commit copyright infringement. Woo! God damn it. Yeah. Anyways, that's what he was. That's why a lot of the hardcore fans were also not a big fan of Pyramid Head being in the game. They're like, oh, why is he here? He's not supposed to be here. He's not.
I mean,
he's just a hulking monster.
Yeah, I mean that kind of that relates to another issue that I had with the movie, which is that it's weird. It at once explains too much and too little. So the Pyramid Head and various other kinds of monsters in the movie, it's like they cry out for an explanation because they're like so elaborate and unusual with like very weirdly specific features, like having a pyramid as a head. And it's like I feel like that's like kind of that's the sort of detail that I need that I need the backstory of in order for it to like work for me. But it's like, okay, so I think that it at once explains too much and explains too.
May I make a comparison to what I think you're trying to say? If I can take a shot at it. What I think you're trying to compare is when you watch the film versus reading the book. And despite a lot of people not taking video game as a medium very seriously, video games have the ability to be more detailed because you're kind of going at your own pace, and you can read the letters that you find. You can read extra background drops, and it'll explain stuff, and you actually have a bit more time to play because you can make a game as long as you need to. Whereas in a film, you got in 2 hours tops to get as much in there as you can, and most directors will turn around and chop 30 minutes out of those 2 hours to get it down to 90 minutes to be able to run it on more screens and more play times to get more money back.
Right. Yeah.
And I think when you're saying like, oh yeah, details are hard to get here, it's because unfortunately, right, it's a movie mediums are tough to translate all this over, and I agree. Like I would have liked to have known, where did this guy come from?
Yeah, well, and one of the critiques that I've seen of the movie is that it's too long as is. So to add any more would have added to that problem.
Yeah, like it's just one of those things. Like some of the diehard Silent Hill fans, and full disclosure, this was my first intro to Silent Hill. Believe it or not, when I was a kid. I wanted to play the games, but I was not very good at survival horror when I was a kid. I was more into the shoot 'em up, hack and slash, and I could never pass one. My brother, he was the legit like survival horror Resident Evil type player, and he's like, to play that, I might as well go play the next Resident Evil games coming out anyway. They're pushing the envelope, and Silent Hill's just like cranking them out left and right. Boy, did we regret that, because now a copy of Silent Hill 2 on PlayStation 2 will run you about $200. That's how like prized it is, and it's like considered to be one of the best games of all time. And I'm over here going like, damn, I saw that game for $20 once. Son of a bitch.
Okay. It's okay. We all make mistakes.
We all do.
Yeah.
But no, like it's one of those things, right? Like I'm actually going to just make a statement here, which anybody who listens to this, just kind of start taking this as a thing. Do not dismiss video games as hokey, because in the past 10 years, we've gotten a lot of stories from video games that people want to try and find a way to translate right onto screen, and they can't. They just can't find a way to do it. Halo, people are pissed at it. People are pissed over the Resident Evil movies. People are pissed over the Mortal Kombat movie that came out 2 years ago, because it looked like Mortal Kombat, but it didn't feel like Mortal Kombat, because there is a story to all these things. So when people say, "Oh, video games, they're not really that deep," you are just wrong in every avenue you could think of. Some of the best stories are being told on video games right now.
It's play Silent Hill 2, honestly, and that just shows them up, because the deep meanings, and it also goes to the point of like, oh, if you see a monster you don't know what it is,
Run.
For that, you will get the meaning behind it.
Mm-hmm. Like,
because it adds a lot of weight to
like
the
the
experience.
nurses, they covered it in the movie at least. Like the nurses are representative of what happened to Alessa in the hospital. Like they were mean to her, and then like the guy in the
Particular
bucket,
nurse.
yeah, and then like the guy in the bathroom, like he molested her,
No,
and
raped.
yeah, he right. Yeah, well, I'm trying to be decent, sir. God, what is with you today and these
How's
kinds of drops?
molesting decent?
It's much nicer than the word you're using, sir, especially on corpses. Damn,
Well-
the AI is an edgy one today. What do you watch a bunch of fucking Rob Zombie movies before you jumped on today?
Oh, this is what happens when when there's a
You
glitch
want
in
to
the
be
matrix.
specific.
Yeah, we don't need to be specific to what happened to an innocent little girl. Although I am going to say one more visual that I really liked about this film. When they get that preacher bitch, that fucking the Judy Harper bitch. I hate that bitch. I hate those people like that. You know, they manipulate.
Christiana, what's her name?
Whatever that bitch is, the lead Bible thumping whore.
Bella.
Yeah, the lead Bible thumping whore. I hated her too much to know her real name. When she gets inside the church, and then they wrap her up and they tear that bitch apart. My favorite visual, which a lot of people ignore, is the little girl dancing under her blood.
Oh, yes, that was.
She is legit like just dancing under the blood of this fucking lady. And I'm like, oh, that is so evil. Yet I am so satisfied. I hate you so bad, but this is so cool. Like,
oh man, I'm just
that little
like,
girl's
I'm
just like. They don't focus on it. They don't go like ham on it. You know, like nowadays, like they would have like, what is it, Florence Pugh dancing under her and make it seem like erotic or sensual or whatever. That's what they would do these days. It wasn't that bad. All they did was like, it's a quick 2 seconds. You see that she starts just spinning around in the blood underneath this lady, and I'm like, this is evil. But fuck yeah, I'm happy to see this.
When revenge goes so wrong,
Right,
feels
yeah.
so right.
Yeah, movies allow you to indulge a bit of your vengeful side.
Let's look at it like this. If it were, there's just so many guys. Throw a random dart at the list of people that I hate. Just pull one up by random. Just pull up.
Davison.
Oh, the Ghost of Leonard Nimoy.
Shit, and I don't want to piss that one off. He has power over us.
Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, let's say it was Ryan Reynolds, right? That right now that crappy movie came out of his, and it was Ryan Reynolds getting pulled apart like that. I would do the same thing, like just one quick little twirl underneath and then one off, because fuck that guy. He didn't pay my bills. But like it just goes like that. You're seeing this scene is just so satisfying, but so evil.
Hard against.
I feel so disproportionate because one is a woman who literally tried to burn away the sins of another adult that committed onto a child away from her as a form of cleansing, and another is an act that you just don't like.
There's another one who tried to cleanse away He's the one that burned my Green Lantern beyond recognition.
That wasn't his fault.
He's also the one that was a part of the killing my favorite vampire franchise in Blade to try and elevate his own career status. And he's also the guy who just keeps doing 12-year-old jokes. So yeah, I don't like him very much. He's tried to purge the things that I like too much. Even Pokemon, he took a piece out of because he's fuck him. Just fuck Ryan Reynolds.
Detective Pikachu. Oh my god.
Fuck Ryan Reynolds. Just fuck him. Fuck him. Anyways, go back to the subject.
New movie, but I'll leave that off camera.
We got 6 minutes. All right. So I'd be arguing about Ryan Reynolds, but fuck him. All right. So I'm gonna ask this question because we were blindsided today with a nice hobnob. What would you repair if you could, Red, with this film?
What would I repair?
If you could save this film on the cutting room floor, you're the editor. What would you do here?
Okay, that's a good one. Well, I would. I mean, it seems wrong to do this to a horror film, but I would have fewer monster scenes. I just think that it's just not really adding much to the story. Like some of the monster themes, just I don't know, it just kind of feels like you're walking through a haunted house.
I'm going to defend your point. with another film.
Yeah, yeah.
You ever seen In the Mouth of Madness?
We talked about it on the show.
Oh, we did. Yes.
We did. Yes.
I just it's just one of those times like I get my mind mixed up. They did that in The Mouth of Madness. You didn't really see the monsters. It was mostly like the hints of the monsters, but you never really see the others. So
Yeah. I'm a fan of no. I'm a fan of very sparing monster showing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I would change. I mean, just the if I'm just the editor and can't do much with the story. Yeah, that's pretty much what I would change.
All right. Well, next time I'll give you the director role and see what you come and start cutting, and then Harvey Weinstein knocks on your door. Actually, no, that's not you, Harvey Weinstein. This is the guy he's based off of. Yeah. Les Grossman knocks on your door with a Diet Coke in his hands, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Did I give you the right? Did I give you the right to start cutting fucking parts of my film? And then he starts dancing to that, what do you call it, that ludicrous song. But anyways, and I'll ask you a quick question, Bolt. If you're the editor, actually no, I'm going to go with you a little different. If you're the screenwriter on this one, what do you do?
Take out Sean Bean. He was literally a waste of. He got free money. He got free money from this film. I can't get rid of Pyramid Head. Because we need something to make sure we get those diehard video game nerds to watch the film. I'm getting rid of Sean Bean. Like, if I can't kill him in my movie, I'm killing him from the script.
It's an interesting choice. Yeah.
So we're deleting all of his scenes.
Yes.
There was an actor that happened to, and I'm trying to remember who it was.
He is kind of an unnecessary character.
Nothing against the man, but like if I had to choose, I'm getting rid of him.
One does not just walk into Silent Hill and delete Sean Bean like that, okay? It's not that simple.
That's a Silent Hill revelation.
Oh, boy. All right. So here's the only thing I would change about the film, and it's only a few things that bothered me genuinely about the film. Because I actually did enjoy this one. When I saw it in 2006, I actually was shocked at how much I liked it. And when I saw it again recently for this podcast, I'm like, this still holds up to me. Because it's like a nice mix of CGI and everything. But there's one important piece that I would change. How old is this kid? She's like at least what, like 8? 10,
in the story, she's supposed to be 9.
She's like 9, right?
12, I think.
All right. Why the fuck is she sleeping with her thumb in her mouth at the end?
Oh, because it's supposed to represent the two, like the innocent half.
But why is her thumb in her mouth? They couldn't just like give her a pillow or something to cuddle with or something. Like I don't understand why she has her thumb in her mouth. It's so weird.
No, because like what was it? Oh, Alessa.
I know. I know Alessa's there, but like she's 9, and the other evil side is also like there. So my question is, why does she have her thumb in her mouth? If I were the director, like if Red was the editor, you were the screenwriter, I'm the director. We're gonna revolve this around next time we encounter a film like this. I would have that one thing switched out. Do not have your thumb in your mouth. It's weird. It's just weird.
Sleep. Just be passed out in the back seat.
Be passed out in the back seat, or like you know what? Don't even do that. Like you can even do like the thing that they do in some of these movies where like the parents, like the kid and her and the mom are like holding hands or something, and she sleeps innocently looking out the window. Like there's other ways to do it. The sleeping with the big thumb in the mouth is just such a like. You're trying way too hard, man, and you're not hitting the home run here on this one.
I'm not defending that any further. That needs to go.
Yeah,
I saw that. Like. And we're back.
And the last thing I would also do is the directors can have this ability. I wouldn't have them go home. I would eliminate those last 4 minutes of them making it home.
Oh,
I would just
sequel bait.
Yeah, I would just end it where they drive off into like you see now leaving Silent Hill, and I would just roll credits there and be like, this is it. That's all we need. I wouldn't film the scene. It doesn't really do anything. Like, it just kind of lets you know, like, all right, they're in a limbo. And if you're a fan of the game, like, you kind of know that there are multiple endings to every Silent Hill game, from Aliens to Otherworld to happy endings to just about anything. Like, there's multiple endings. Like, a dog is responsible for everything in one of the endings. I shit you not. But
What?
if you get the ending a certain way, you can actually open up a door where there's like a lab or something, and the dog is just sitting there, and it's like a very I think it's intentionally like a Homer Simpson joke or something like this, where it's like, and the dog was guilty all along, or something like that.
But it seems like the games might have a very different tone than the movie does.
They are. They sort of have a different tone, not all the way there, but it's like, how do I put this? As this will be my final statement on it, and then I'll ask you guys for your final statement. We'll wrap up. Japanese horror is very unique in that it can be both very comical, yet very gruesome and serious.
Right.
So like they have a very like good way of taking you out of the horror by not taking themselves too seriously, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those examples where like to get you through the game, you will experience a lot of creepy shit, but then in the same tone, like you'll find some stuff that just makes no sense and it's funny, and that's their way of like kind of like, especially Konami is guilty of this. It's their way of like, hey, lighten up. There's none of this is real. This is all a game. You know, just remember to have fun first. We don't want to creep you out too hard. And their movies are like that too. When you watch a straightforward Japanese horror film, you ever see Ringu, you know, there's like a lot of wacky things in Ringu. Like when Hiroki Sanada bites it, he makes like the wackiest face before it fades to black. And,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
Where it's like the jokes almost confuse you. It's like, wait a minute.
You're like, wait, what?
Is this a comedy now? Like that's not supposed to happen in a movie like this.
Yeah, like it, but it's one of those things where it's like, chill. This is just a movie, kind of thing.
Sure.
Like, you know, like you wouldn't make the face that he makes when the lady's coming from out of the TV. Like, you'd start running for the door and you'd probably get killed with a gasp in your eye, but not like how he goes out, right? Like, it even zooms in on his face, and like part of you is like, you're definitely joking. So one day I think we can do like a deep dive into Japanese horror around here, because a lot of those films are similar in tone. You can watch a few and they kind of all have similar beats, and much like Silent Hill, a few of them have been accused to being tied in with realistic cases. So there's a lot of that you'll find in Japanese horror. Like, there's a lot of things that are based in reality that you're like, what? Really? And this is like one of those examples where Silent Hill is based on a real town. So that's Japanese horror explained a little bit for you guys. So to put some stuff into context. What about you guys? Any other thoughts on this one?
I am sick and tired of cults. Also, no, I take that back. My real any statement is, kids are awful. Kids are just the worst.
Well, I'm planning on talking to a cop who was, you know, trained in taking on cults. He more than willingly wants to join us on the show someday. I just need to find time.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well,
yeah, he's a good buddy of mine.
nice. Bring it on. Yeah.
Yeah. So you spoke too soon, you fucking angry robot, you. Red? Oh, any closing thoughts?
Well, all of my criticisms stand up, I think. But I do like historical ghost story-ish horror, and this scratched a little bit of that itch. You know, like the stuff with the cults, some of the costuming, the ghost town atmosphere, just kind of like the tie-ins with some real stuff. That you know, that did something for me.
Nice. Well, like I said, it is a visually nice film. Like I still stand by a lot of the visual effects.
It is impressive, yes.
It's still, like, to me, it still holds up. if you're a fan of Silent Hill and you don't have the games, like, it is a decent sort of intro to get you familiar with what you're looking at. And then, hell, I've advocated for a lot of illegal shit out here. Get yourself, if you really like this game, this movie, and you want to check out the games, there is a remake of Part 2 coming out in October. But there is also this thing called PSX Emulator, PCX2, where you can download that to your computer, and you can go ahead and sail the 7 seas, and you will find yourself a copy of Silent Hill 2 that way. I'm just trying to help y'all folks save some money the real way, not, like somebody with hot dogs and a handshake who told me to switch to fucking Verizon Files, and then it turned out to be a terrible internet connection. So,
They're going to sponsor.
Oh, like they were going to sponsor me.
You never know.
Me.
You never know.
But anyways, with that note, I was Pumpkin Jack today. This is Ghastly Hallows, and I was joined by...
I was and continue to be Red.
Bingo.
It might be both next time. We'll see how it goes.
And this was our episode on Silent Hill. I pissed the wrong song. What the hell is this? This is a weird lo-fi thing. There we go.
That does not match the tone.
There we go. There's the ending tone. All right, everybody. Hopefully we will see you next week.
You could have played Fool on the Hill by the Beatles.
Sir, I don't need to piss off John Lennon's ghost. Alright, I piss off a lot of dead people around here. I need to piss him off too. Wake up in Silent Hill. I'm living right now 40 minutes from the real one.
I want to see what your Silent Hill will look like.
Go look up the thing I sent you. We're still live, by the way, so you know.
Oh.